Hello and welcome to the 100th episode of the Sock Bunny Knit and Fit video podcast. My name is Kimberly, also known as Sock Bunny, and I am recording in sunny Florida in the United States of America. I thank you very much for joining me today. This is a quick Tour de France, Tour de Fleece episode. I wanted to show you my spinning from yesterday. I did some drop spindling yesterday on my Turkish drop spindle. This is some colonial wool from Ashland Bay that I got at a local yarn store. And I wanted to show you how a Turkish spindle works. Well, as far as getting the yarn off of it, the singles off of it, because there is an advantage, and this is one of the reasons I like it. So I just broke off the fiber that I was using. So let's say this was full and I was ready to take this off. I don't have to wind it off. On a regular drop spindle, you can either slide the big bump, I think it's called the cop. You can slide that big bump of yarn off, or you can wind it off, or whatever you want to do. But the advantage to a Turkish spindle is that you can just take the arms and these arms off, and you have a ball all ready to go. You don't have to wind it off. So I'm going to take this off to show you how it looks. So basically, I'm just sliding out the center, and then you have your two arms, and one of the arms is going to be maybe look a little bit more narrow than the other one, and that's the one that is going, one of them is going inside the other one, which I will show you in a second. So I believe this might be the one. Yes, so this one is a little bit more narrow than that one, so I'm going to actually just slide it out. And then now the white that you see there was the leader that I used, because when you first start using a spindle, you need a piece of string to start your start holding the twist. So then I'm just going to pull out the other side, so you can see that. There you go. So now I have this adorable little ball that I can use to ply from. This one's really messy, but that's what it looks like. Sort of messy looking, but that's the advantage, that I can now apply from this and I don't have to wind it off onto, like a lot of people use like a toilet paper tube or something like that to wind it off. I wanted to show you how you put it back together. So you have these two pieces, they have holes in the middle, and one of them has a hole through the center, so you're going to slide. So you have your cross, and then this one could be used either as a top whorl or a bottom whorl. The whorl is the part that goes around this part. So you could use it as you could use it like this, where it's a bottom whorl, and you tie a knot up here. Instead of having a hook, you tie like a little slip knot. Or you could use it this way from this end and use it as a top whorl. Also, the advantage of this is I can switch it around so that the legs go in whichever direction I want. I don't think it really matters. I think that's just a matter of taste, which direction the legs go. So again, you can do it either way, however you like it. I like using it as a bottom whorl, but I like it as a top whorl too. You can see how it spins. And it's a drop spindle. And so I really like it. I really like this style of spindle, drop spindle. And they make really tiny ones that are really adorable. I like this bigger one. I like to spin thicker, and usually if you have a heavier spindle, your singles will be thicker, generally, because it has to support the weight. So if you want really thin singles, you want to use a lighter weight, maybe smaller spindle, because it doesn't have to support as much of the wood weight, and you can make it thinner and it won't break. So there you go. So that's the Turkish spindle. Tonight I am going to ply the Polworth that I spun a couple of days ago, a few days ago, and then I will continue with this on the Turkish spindle because I want to finish. It's very pretty, very lovely purple, matches my shirt. So today I am going to talk about on the Tour de France, I'm going to talk about the Peloton. And the Peloton is probably the biggest focus of the race. Yes, there are race leaders that break away. They call them the breakaway, actually. They'll like, when you watch a bicycling race, and I'm talking to you like you've never seen one. When you watch a bicycling race like the Tour, there are usually a few riders that are in the front, and then there's a gap, and then there are a few riders in a big giant peloton, and it's a French word that means I think like pellet or platoon. And then there might be some that are further back that have broken off even from the peloton. So your when people cross the finish line in a group, they all get the same finish time. They don't do like runners where and they actually talked about this yesterday on the tour, so that's why I'm mentioning it. They don't do like runners where each runner gets an individual time and it might be a fraction of a second different than the person next to them. They actually give everybody the same time because you could have like over 100 people in that big group of riders in the peloton, and if they were really going to divide the times by split second, it would be like chaos and mayhem and probably a lot more accidents because people would try to be in the front of the peloton versus the back of the peloton. So the entire peloton gets the same finish time, whether you're at the front or the back. As long as you're in a group of riders, even if you're at the lead or smaller groups going, um, each member of that group gets the same time. So that's how they do it. So the Pelotons, there's an advantage to riding. There are many advantages to riding in the Peloton, but the main one is to save energy. If you are a rider who is in the middle of the Peloton, the wind resistance is cut down and will save you 30 to 40% of your energy. So that's why a lot of times when you're watching these races, you will see the leaders of the teams. Like, say there's like 8 people on a bicycling team, and they're trying to get one particular person to cross the line first. Like, say right now, it's Chris Froome. He's the one who is wearing the yellow jersey. So all the people on his team, their job is to help him get across the finish line first. So they will ride around him and protect him, maybe protect him from other riders or other tactics, but also they're riding around him so that they are blocking the wind and he's saving his energy for the big push at the end. So that is one of the main reasons why you ride in a big group. And when you're riding in a big group like that, you do have more wind resistance when you're near the front, but also the advantage of being in the front is that you have less chance of being in a collision because if you're in the front, there are fewer riders in front of you that could possibly crash. And, it has the domino effect when there's a crash. A lot of times, a lot of riders behind that rider in the peloton will crash. Um, one of the things that really affects the peloton, the shape of the peloton, is wind, the direction of the wind. When you watch the tour, you'll notice that sometimes it's a really long line and there's one rider right after the other. And then other times there are big giant mob groups of the peloton. And that is mainly due to wind. And the wind resistance, the wind direction, um, really, really plays a big part in the shape of the peloton. So if the wind is coming from the front, a lot of times there will be a long, skinny line of racers. Because if you stay directly behind the guy in front of you and the wind is coming, then he's blocking the wind for you. So that's one reason why they would do that. If they're riding in a big bunch, like maybe several riders across, that means that the wind is most likely coming from the back of them, behind them, and is pushing them. So the riders will spread out so that they can get that wind pushing them. And then if the wind is coming from the side, what they'll do is they'll form something called an echelon, and it's where each rider, like say the wind was coming from my right here, the rider behind me would want to be a little bit behind me, but to the side so that I would be blocking their wind. So you will see, sort of like if you see fighter pilot jets where they'll be just a little bit staggered from each other, it's the same type of thing there. I'm sure like flying geese, it's the same thing with the wind resistance. Um, So that's it. I just wanted to tell you a little bit about the Peloton. I hope you are enjoying these little tips about the tour. I hope you are having a great Tour de France. And it ends on Sunday, so we only have a few more days. I've really been enjoying it. I very much enjoy the last week of the tour the most because to me it's the most exciting. I like watching the first couple of weeks, but the third week is when I really pay more attention to it and tend to not focus on my knitting or spinning as much, and I'll actually watch the race more. A lot of times when I'm watching the race, I'm spinning or knitting, and I'm actually more listening to it. But the third week, I tend to actually watch it more than listen to it. So that's my experience. This is my third year watching it, and I really enjoy it. So, and it's the only sport I like. I don't know why. So anyway, I hope you are enjoying it, and I will see you tomorrow and hopefully every day after through Sunday. I'll be doing a regular episode on Sunday. So I will see you later. Have a great evening. Keep on crafting. Bye.